Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm a big cheapskate and I'm frugal, you know. I like to save a buck. And right now, the most popular GPS module, mine is pretty tore up and it probably won't focus, but it's a Bay Baytan BN220 GPS, and that's a pretty popular GPS that's widely used. It comes in a bunch of different configurations. TBS makes one too. They call it the M8, and it looks pretty much the same thing. It has a little bit of a smaller antenna on it. That's in a TBS M8 on there, M8 version 2. Um, and these usually go for like I don't know, I'd say anywhere from 12 to like 20 bucks for a, mainstream GPS module. And I've been scouring AliExpress and I've found some that are a lot cheaper and they work just as good, and some maybe even work better than this one. And I was just going to share them with you today. So I'll just start from the top. Um, Over here we have the car radar GPS model. Now this is a little bit bigger. It's more of like an 880 kind of GPS module. I believe, no, this one actually doesn't have a compass, but it picked up a ton of satellites in seconds. Like, it was in less than 30 seconds. It had satellites inside near the window, which is pretty crazy for a GPS module. But this one runs $3.55 on AliExpress. You just type in car radar, K-A-R-A-D-A-R, and it's a GPS module that comes with a radar detector. And oh, sorry, my screen went off there. It freaked me out. It comes with a radar detector, and it is a UART capable GPS module, and I got it running up to like, I think it was 5 hertz, and it probably found 12 to 14 satellites where I live, and that's pretty good for where I live. And yeah, this one's a little bit bigger. If you put the BN220 next to it, it looks like a behemoth, but it's not actually that much bigger, and for the price you can't beat it. Some may say a bigger antenna might be better, but yeah, I don't know. Next up is probably the cheapest option. It's called a sorry, I shouldn't have wrote everything down there, but this is called a Neo 6M GPS module. This is like an old school. This is what came with all the DJI Phantoms. It has a U-Blox chipset, a U-Blox Neo 6M chipset. I'm sorry this isn't focusing. Yeah, oh well. But it's a Neo 6M. It actually has a removable antenna, and the one that comes with it is actually pretty big. They make a smaller one that's like a half size, and what's cool about this one is it's the same width as a flight controller, like 30.5 I think, and it fits like perfectly onto a flight controller. And it wasn't really intended to, but it does. And it's a little bit heavier option, but it's one of the cheapest options. I found these anywhere from $1.50 to like $3, and that's without shipping. But $2-3 for a fully functional GPS module with a ceramic antenna, that's pretty cheap. And it comes just like this. It comes with a external GPS module, so you can mount this on your stack and then have this hanging out the window wherever you want it. And yeah, that's one option. This is a Neo 6M. They make a 7M and 8M, and the price just goes up from there. But the original 6M is totally fine. I think it goes up to like 3 hertz, and it's perfectly fine for GPS navigation on a FPV drone or any kind of drone. So next up we have my favorite here. I'll just bring it over here. One of my favorites Actually, we'll save the favorites for last. This is pulled from a generic drone. These are pretty common. This was pulled from a low palm drone. You can get them like for like $5-10 if you just bought it directly. But some of you might have a cheap old like SEMA drone, or like just some old drone that is more of a toy variety. A lot of those toy variety drones have a UART GPS module, and a lot of them have compasses also, and barometers and all kind of shit that you can interface with. This is out of a cheap generic drone, and it is a great module. It's a pretty good size. I mean, it's not super huge. There's the BN 220 next to it for reference. The antenna is a little bit bigger than the BN 220, but they're not much bigger than each other, larger than each other. And this one goes for, you know, $5 or maybe free if you have a drone laying around your house. And it's completely capable of I think up to 5-6 hertz. Here's another one pulled. This is pulled from a Simrex X11 drone. It is very similar. It has these like obscure codes on it. It's a little bit bigger than the little bit larger than the other cheap one, but this is from another generic drone called Simrex, or Holy Stone, I think, X11 drone. It's a fully functional UART GPS module. And so just moving right along, here's some of my favorite GPS modules that I found on AliExpress that are comparable. Sorry, I am working on my video setup here. At least I have a better camera, but yeah, I'm still working on the video setup. But anyway, the ones that I like the most, this is called a GPO2 module. They're available on Banggood or AliExpress. I actually soldered these cables on there, but alright, I'm just gonna find the BN 220. It's actually a little bit smaller than the BN 220, but it has all the capability. I think it goes up to 10 hertz. It has a modern BDS, like Baidu and GPS chipset. It's called a GP2 GPO2 kit, and it comes with the the solder points, and it has a backup battery. And this is one of my favorites. I got this for $4.50, plus like $2 or $3 shipping. And this one is probably, I would say, better than the Beitan 220 GPS. And yeah, I like this one a lot. It's very fast, very capable. The GPO2 GPS module. And then the runner-up is the HT 1818Z3GL GPS module. And I'm so sorry it's not focusing. Hopefully my lens isn't covered with shit there. I think I have a zoom on this thing, but I haven't figured it out yet because I'm simple. But this is in HT 1818Z3G5L GPS module. You can get these for around $4, and they are pretty nice. They have a battery backup. I believe they have flash memory, so it'll save your configurations. And it is a lot smaller than the BN 220. And yeah, it's great. I think it's more like a BN 180 or whatever. But yeah, there's just a lot of great GPS modules that you don't have to necessarily buy a Beitan or one of these these name brand ones, because there's a ton that work just as well, that have the same chipsets, and they are a lot cheaper. And that's great. We love that. And yeah, and I just keep your mind open. I mean, this came out of a GPS speedometer. Like, it was like a HUD, HUD, like a HUD for a car. I just had it laying around the house, and I was like, hey, that's got a GPS in it. And sure as shit, it has a you know, that's not much bigger than this BN 220 here, and you could easily use this on a quad, and I have used this on a quad before. And yeah, so keep your mind open. There's GPS modules all around you in this modern world, and yeah, you can save a lot of money and get GPS returned to home, and you know, it'd be a lot safer use of your quad. You can find your quad. Yeah, I love GPS. Ever since I didn't have GPS for a long time, and I was like, you know, I don't really need it. But ever since I had it, GPS with TBS Crossfire, I'm sure ELRS has it too, but on Crossfire, it'll tell you your last GPS coordinate that you're, you know, so it's always updating the GPS coordinates, and it will tell you exactly where your drone dropped out of the sky, basically, and you know, you can retrieve it. It'll show up on your transmitter. You know, you can have it set up that it can show up on your transmitter, and you can see the exact location of where it dropped out of the sky last. And yeah, it might help some people, but yeah, there's a lot of GPS models out there. I figured I'd share this with some people. I've been kind of like hoarding them. They're great. They're a great component for a FPV drone or INAV drone or any kind of drone. And yeah, alright, thanks for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that good shit. And alright, see ya.